Back with Bobby and JJ Radio, we have Mr. Brian Hayes, which is a partner at NOWCFO. Awesome company. Been in the industry for 10 years, with this company for 3. First off, I want to say thanks for hanging out with us, my man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about how you got with this company, NOWCFO.
Well, first off, I'll say I'm not your typical accountant.
Yeah, I can tell.
I grew up in Southern California, and I spent 10 years in the pest control industry and specialized in structural fumigation. So I was kind of a bug boy for a long time.
Yeah.
And once the housing market tanked in California, I decided I didn't want to be involved with industries related to that too much at that point in time. I wanted to get into something different, so that's when I decided to go to school. So ended up going to school for 5 years online. Did my entire education online from nothing to an MBA in finance. During that time, we moved out to Utah and had a new job out there, got laid off after a couple months, so I started my own bookkeeping business. I just kind of dove into this accounting thing, figured it out, and I developed a lot of clients over time, and one of them hired me to be their controller and operations manager. And so we were the largest importer of acai to the U.S. from Brazil during that time. And so did a lot, learned a lot about managing business, owning one, and just growing things and such. So after I helped them with a merger with a company out of New Zealand, and helped him buy a plant in Brazil, I ended up just leaving the company, and I ended up at NOWCFO. So I started with them in Utah back in 2014.
Sure. Tell us about NOWCFO.
So NOWCFO, we are an operational accounting and consulting firm. And that sounds really boring when you say it like that.
No, I got excited when you were talking about it.
So what that means is you think of CPA firms, they work on taxes and audit. They're kind of external to a business. We work on the inside of the business. We come in, we help clients manage the accounting in-house. So we can provide a CFO or controller on an interim basis. We do a lot of projects for larger companies, but a lot of ongoing work for smaller businesses, where we can be their accounting department, supplement part of their accounting department, do a lot of cleanup, or just managing and helping them with budgets, forecasts, all the boring accounting stuff people don't like to deal with.
No, I mean, but it's important, right? I mean,
it's very important.
I feel that's where a CEO or any kind of owner of small to micro businesses, where we get lost is that for how much should I be budgeting, and it's almost like we're always playing catch up. I remember when me and Bobby were early in the game, we would do our taxes in October, right? We'd kick the can, and so we'd realize what we made 10 months after the year was over.
After all of our extensions.
But you kind of clean that up so that doesn't have to happen.
Right. And then we'll work with your CPA to help you get your taxes filed on time.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be crazy if we filed on time.
You imagine meeting deadlines?
No, that would be insane.
Time? Who does that?
I think my summer would feel just better, because I'm always just shuffling through it. That's awesome. So walk us through. So let's say we're company, we never had this kind of outsourcing. Walk us through working with a new client.
So a lot of times we'll start out with just a quick introductory meeting, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just to get to know each other. And from there, we'll schedule what we call a whiteboard session. And the whiteboard session really just allows us to talk about the needs of the company. We start off actually with the opportunities, the challenges, and then the needs and wants. And we take a global view of the business. We're not just looking at the accounting department. We're trying to understand the business as a whole so that we can help the business owner understand what's going on there. And then from there, we determine what projects we need to start with, where we need to go. And then usually at the whiteboard session, I'll have a consultant who I think might be a good fit for the client, and they can start building that relationship from there, and then we'll get right to work. The client will work on site.
On site?
Yep.
So what's your target demographic, size of a company that you work with?
We work with companies of all sizes, actually.
Okay.
So the larger the company, typically tends to be a project where they need some help just on a short-term basis.
Sure.
Smaller
Give us an example of that kind of project.
So recently, there's a company here in San Antonio we helped. We went in, and their work in process account, their WIP account, where they track all the work, that's what we did, and we cleaned that up because they hadn't had it cleaned up in probably 2 or 3 years.
So what would you say separates you from your competition?
Our people, our consultants, they're very highly skilled. They're not fresh out of college, and they are able to come in, quickly assess what's going on, because they usually have a CPA or an MBA. They've been doing this a long time, and they can clean it up very quickly. And like I said, we'll work on site, hourly basis, so that they have full control over the time and money they spend on us.
And speaking of that, time and money, so is it easy to stay with a budget? as far as working with this type of company?
Absolutely. We will work with the client, prioritize what they want to work on. We'll only work on the high priority things to make sure that we can work within their budget.
Sure. Perfect.
Okay.
So if someone wants to start this process with you, what's the best website for them to go to, or how can they get a hold of you?
They can go to NOWCFO.com or call me directly at 210-380-5612.
NOWCFO.com or 210-380
5612.
We're going to take a quick break. So we're going to hear from our show sponsors. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and be a fan of our show at bobbyandjjradio.com.